What's up, guys? NottheWinner here, and I want to talk to you guys about the patch notes in Remnant 2. Now, we did have quite a few updates and changes here, so this is definitely something where we want to cover everything. But one of the things that I noticed is they've increased the trait cap. Now, I don't know if they've improved the traits yet, because they did mention that they were gonna, but let's go ahead and read through these patch notes. So, performance and crashes, they fixed basically the crashes and issues that people are having with high shadows, but that doesn't mean it's going to fix for every graphics card type, and it doesn't mean it's going to work for everyone. But let's go over quality of life. There's a few things that they're working out regarding the traits and long-term grinding. They want to make some changes to give people more freedom to experiment and easier to respec, so we don't have to pay for the Orb of Undoing multiple times. Now we just buy it once, thankfully. So let's go over these. We increased the trait cap by 5. Tome of Knowledge, which honestly, +5, yeah, it lets you do more builds, but oh man, it's barely enough. Tome of Knowledge now grants scrap and experience when the player has reached trait cap. Sorry guys, had to sneeze there. Which is actually huge. The amount of Tome of Knowledges I've picked up since capping has been tons, and if I was getting scrap for each, it would be a lot. Or having unlimited juices and selling extras for scrap, huge deal there. Remove the trait requirement for equipping a second archetype, so you can now slot your second archetype as soon as you get it. There's no cost for mysterious items into engrams, and Luminite cost is down to 5. We get more scrap from breakables, more scrap from regular and rare chests, more scrap from killing aberrations, and reduced cost of blood rot. Then we go over balance changes, which tells us that this is all the quality of life that we're getting for right now. It's some very good quality of life, but there's a few other things that I wish they had taken care of. So, increase the duration of Explorer's Scavenger buff to from 15 to 20 seconds, and the Gold Digger buff 15 to 20 seconds, and the healing from Gold Digger Healing Fountain from 1.5 to 2 per second. They wanted to make sure that the Explorer could maintain the Scavenger for longer in between the fights. So just buffing the duration by 5 seconds each was plenty. So they fixed the bug on Archon, so the Lightning Hands doesn't deal insane damage, but they've doubled the base damage of Lightning Hands, so after fixing the bug, it's still going to be powerful, hopefully. Blink damage went from 100 to 150, and the cooldown went from 120 to 90. Now here's the issue. Challenger archetype adjusted the damage fall off for Challenger close quarters perk. At maximum range, Challenger will always have a 10% damage bonus to all damage. That's nothing. Challenger's the worst class out of all of them, and I love Challenger, but it is unluckily currently the worst class. Ugh. Increase the handler's pack hunter range from 25 to 40 meters. That's a big difference. Base health of handler, very good boy companion. Base health of summoner, hollow, and flyer variants, so they actually won't die as easily. That's actually kind of big. Their health wasn't enough. That's one of the main issues that I had with summoner. Weapons, switch the Philion scaling to boss/special damage scaling instead of standard. That's actually huge. Increase the fire damage of Shatterstar, Savior mod, and reduce the fire rate on Nightfall in Standard and Dreadwalker fire modes. So, they say Nightfall is dealing way more damage than any other weapon. There's better weapons than Nightfall. There always has been. And, if you make the right builds, you're going to have something far stronger than what Nightfall was pre-patch. They reduced it by a huge margin, and it's probably now one of the lower weapons in the game based on this change, because it sits closer in line with other high damage weapons, but it doesn't have the range of other high damage weapons. It's got a short range, and that's kind of the issue with the Nightfall. It just doesn't reach far enough on certain boss fights. And then the fire rate, like, most of the time you're going into Dreadwalker, and then you'll get slapped and not even get an attack off. So, I don't know. That's one where Nightfall felt powerful, but nowhere near as powerful as something like the Enigma. So reduce the AoE burst damage of Enigma. Overload application from 40 to 30%. Reduce the subsequent tether damage of Enigma's primary fire from 75 to 65%. Reduce the magazine capacity for Enigma from 30 to 25. Increase the total reserve capacity for Enigma from 120 to 125. So you absolutely destroyed the Enigma. Enigma was performing too far above our goal for AoE clear, so a few adjustments were made. There's still an issue with it ignoring armor that will be addressed in the future. However, when that happens, we'll reevaluate the numbers. Well, it was ignoring armor, and I'm assuming that's due to the shock damage and most armors using metallic type things. But it doesn't deal as much damage as most weapons on a single target, so it's meant as an AoE killer, and ignoring armor I thought was kind of the point since the damage is lower on the ticks. Uh, reduce damage on Nightweaver grab attacks, the wall and the lunge, so it shouldn't hit you, shouldn't one hit you as often. It's still pretty easy to survive it if you run a full tank build in the pre-patch version. So it's not too big of a change. Yeah, it will help you survive with less gear though. Adjusted the hitbox of Magister Dolian's tongue attack to better match visuals. Huh. Reduce incoming damage in multiplayer from 25% per additional player to 15% per player. That's actually a big change. It will help us survive in 3-person multiplayer because it will only be 30% damage instead of 50% damage. That's a huge difference. Progression reward bugs, multiple crash bugs, progression blocker bugs. Excuse me. Excuse me. No more negative trait points now. Those have been flipped to positive, and then you just re-unlock them. Okay, you can still reacquire the achievements that you should already have, but you're not just going to retroactively get them, it looks like it says. Oh, people who completed Oracle's Quilt will receive half quilt award as well as full quilt reward if they had not previously received it. Okay, I need to check my Oracle because I've run through Lasolm so many times. I should probably have that by now. Fixed an issue with weapons not unlocking after hardcore playthroughs. Fortunately, hardcore awards will not be retroactively recorded, so you have to go back and redo hardcore. Fixed an issue with weapons not unlocking after completing playthroughs at different difficulties. Once again, just play them again. Players who listen to all of Mudtooth stories did not receive all the rewards can visit Mudtooth to receive their rewards. Fix an issue preventing Explorer and Archon from appearing in the vendor. Just have to convert a mysterious item. Fix an issue preventing Mudtooth's elixir from appearing in the inventory. Sometimes ends in random locations. That's actually funny. Oh, revivalist trait from reviving player 15 times. I should have that. Well, that's good. Okay, casting speed does not go infinite now. Alright, let's talk about these. Hunter's Focus not granting proper weak spot damage bonus. Hunter's Shroud not granting multiplicative bonus. Invader Perk Shark not applying its damage bonus. Gunslinger Bulletstorm Sound not terminating. Male Engineers ignore falling transition when overclocking. VFX change on Nebula and Hellfire. Issue preventing Plasma Cutter from dealing correct damage to certain enemies. Fix an issue causing Shieldbreaker Mutator to not grant the correct amount of shield. Okay. Nightfall mod visual effects terminate correctly now. Fix an issue allowing Dreamcatcher to trigger Dreamweave before it is properly earned. Fixed an issue that allowed Crystal Heart from stacking on itself. Fixed an issue with Ring of Flawless Beauty not granting proper weak spot damage bonus. Anastasia's Inspiration causing infinite damage stacking on summoner minions. Oh. Well, that's a good issue to fix. Some boss and special melee weapons from receiving proper scaling. God Splitter from triggering. Oh, the was this supposed to happen achievement. Oh. Fix the issue with Primogenitor health bar incorrectly tracking and causing players to become stuck. Issue with Root Knight Puddle projectile dealing damage on hit. Nightweaver projectile homing in on player incorrectly. Okay, cool. Aberration, Tower of the Unseen now responds after a player dies and re-enters the Aberration room. Good. Issue with the Blocked Ruin Labyrinth enemy sound effects. Issue where players can defeat Gwendol the Unburnt without taking any damage by staying on the stairs under the wooden bridge. Interesting. Killing the Many Faces, Corruptor World Boss Golem when it's jumping between platforms would cause it to fall off the world in the Great Bowl. That's actually really funny. Fix multiple location on final level where player could get out of bounds of the level. Issue with players not receiving fall damage by holding throwable consumables or melee weapons in throwing position. Collision issue where you get trapped in the Morrow Sanatorium. A certain melee weapon face distortion. Locked out of Postulant's Parlor. Oh, when you close it after playing the board game. That does make sense because the doors would be shut. Open door in the Sentinel when the key is required. Players were trapped when attempting to vault through a wall in Cotton's Kiln. Skip the siege fight in Tiller's Rest. Falling into a gap between boat and wall in Tiller's Rest. Floating door in Cathedral of Omens. Issue of the Great Hall, allowing repeated XP rewards during the Feastmaster. Okay, so Feastmaster's been adjusted to the way that basically if you die and go back in, you'll still get the XP, but you can't like sit under it and like eat someone multiple times. It's one time per run. Transition through walls, get stuck in throwing animations, kill volume height in the Custodian Eye area. Okay, so nothing too crazy, a lot of small issues, nerfing a couple of the guns in the game, which hurts a little bit. But the builds weren't changed tremendously. There's not like a whole lot to worry about here, and they didn't even address the damage reduction. So for those of you guys who are going for any of my high DR builds, all of my high DR builds are extremely viable still. Nothing should have changed with any of those, but we now get additional trait caps to put towards whatever we might like. So for like the Gray Health build, Gray Health Regeneration if you have that one. If you don't have Gray Health Regeneration, then you could easily go for other buffs as well. But yeah, it just gives us a little bit more optimization with our builds. Thanks for watching, guys.